video?
No, it was asking for to do the stream.
Okay. We're
Hey
live.
guys, welcome to Reddit Lane. Thank you, ma'ams, for joining me for the book reading. Are we ready to get started? I should have got a bottle of water before we got started, but that's okay.
This book is crazy.
So you read it already?
I just kind of skimmed through a few parts of it. This book is low-key kind of crazy. Why isn't it showing? Hold on. It shows that we're live, but I'm looking and I have us playing and I don't see it. It still says live in 6 minutes.
So they can't see us.
I'm looking. Are you okay? No, Kim's Lost Words featuring Make It Make Sense.
Yeah. It says live.
Let me see. Let me ask. Oh, okay. They say that we can see us. Okay, now I guess I was on a delay. So that's my bad. That's my bad, y'all. Okay. So y'all, this is literally just like a pamphlet. And Reddit let me know that it's no longer even on Amazon.
Yeah, I went to go check it out and I was like trying to see the picture so I could do like my thumbnail, and it wasn't on Amazon anymore. So I don't know. I think I read somewhere that they were trying to get it taken off of Amazon, but I don't know. I couldn't find it at Barnes and Nobles or any place else either.
Albie Shore did send a cease and desist, so I don't know if he sent it to Amazon directly and that worked. But another straight shooter said they had gotten the book and wanted to return it, and Amazon said, "We'll send you a refund, but you can keep the book."
Actually, I love it when that happens at Amazon. That happened to me the other day with something else. I think some slippers I had bought that didn't fit, and they were like, "Oh, you can just keep it." So I think they just do that sometimes.
Okay. Chapter 1, Introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband, father of my oldest child, and one of my oldest friends in life, Albie Shore. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it didn't work out. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with. A man whom I would love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here I have to tell this truth. Unfortunately, because deep down I know everything that was happening, but I lied to myself a lot. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told despite the fact that it will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped. Well, that's the first chapter.
That was the first chapter?
That was the first chapter.
I thought that was like the intro.
That was the first chapter.
How is someone's memoir starting off saying Sean Combs must be stopped, as if that's like the whole point of my memoir, if that was what it was supposed to be? People
have said a lot about Kim, but I have never heard anyone say that she was not a great mom. The line of this story must be told, despite the fact that it will hurt my children. That line, I just feel like I don't think a mom would put that in there.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to hurt your children after death. You know, like, oh, before death, I wouldn't want to hurt them. But now that I'm gone, let's just, everything's fine. We can hurt them.
Chapter 2, Humble Beginnings. This
is going to be like 30 minutes. Literally.
We might do it in 2, I would think. Humble Beginnings. I was born to loving parents, Jake Porter and Sarah L. Porter, in the Peach State of Georgia. All through Columbus High School, where I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. In the 10th grade, one of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown and my home, Georgia. That conversation was so important as I look back now. It changed my life. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope. Okay. I told my subscribers. So sometimes I hear stuff Reddit and it's new to me, but it's not new to my source. So one of the things that my source just thought was common knowledge was that the song Creep was written about Kim Porter. Meaning Dallas Austin and her had a relationship, a real relationship that spanned the test of time because they were creeping. The song, he wrote the song Creep for her.
Right, right. I mean, I've heard that before, but
how is he not in her humble beginnings?
Right. You're like letting it all out, but you didn't mention this at all.
We jump right from the girl in your high school telling you, you know, you needed to get out of Georgia to I'm with Albie Shore. Okay. Okay. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We were married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way. But I was young, and it just felt like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, but we got past that quickly. He was just a super dope guy and an amazing father.
This reads so weird.
Quincy even talked about the fact that he was an absentee father. He was not a great father initially. And I believe that Diddy eventually adopted Quincy.
Right.
Though we separated, we are forever bonded. Now, I do know that later in life, you know, Al took a more active role. Quincy and him got back together, you know, and I don't know how much of them not being in each other's life had to do with maybe Diddy stepping in and not wanting them to have a relationship or intimidating him to get out of the picture. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Has he come out and said that though?
Who?
I'll be sure. I mean, has he mentioned, okay, this is the reason why I wasn't a part of his life? I don't think he said that, but I do know, like, wasn't it in an interview recently when Quincy was talking about he and his father having a friendship? That's what I kind of
thought. He acknowledges that they have something now, although Albie just said he has Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay. When I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm, and before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men dare to even dream. Then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him.
Why would somebody even share that? I mean, like that to that point, it's like, okay, who cares? Like people are doing stuff in their bedrooms. Like, who cares? Why would you? This is such a big part of what's supposed to be my memoir. But okay, I'm just.
The first time he said he just wanted to experiment, to try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there... Not reading that. I just feel... He bled from it, and there was poop on it, and that's the nicer way of putting it. I left him alone after that. Guys, don't forget to like the video. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Okay. Okay. Chapter 3. But did you have anything you wanted to add about chapter 2? All 2 pages?
Right. Like I'm really thinking this is. I don't even know how many words this was. And we're in chapter 3, and now this man is like a best-selling author from this.
And side note, I joke about being a journalist, but that was literally Reddit's major. So,
yeah. I wanted to major in being nosy.
Sean kept chapter 3, second chances. Sean kept reaching out, and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me by saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, Sean." I tried to get up to leave, but he pulled my arm. As I turned to him, he looked deep into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as an attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this. I wasn't aware of this as his manipulation tactic. Not yet. God, I was so young, so naive. He continued. Now that I could believe, because people do say that he throws out the love word really quickly, and that kind of like.
It's still reading like a novel, like
Yeah,
a grimy novel.
I agree. Um, He continued, "Let's just have dinner," and I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in Lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops to impress me. He pulled a chair out for me to sit. Back then, he was always a gentleman. He smiled and said, "Look," as he sat across from me. I hated it, and I never wanted to do it again. "Give me another chance." Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun. Things were going great, and we were living the dream that I dreamt about throughout my youth. Sean and Clive were working on Bad Boy, and he had his first couple of artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from the West Coast called the Notorious B.I. But they put the Notorious B1. Was that his name initially?
I don't know that.
Okay. The Notorious B1. If somebody's in the chat and know that as Biggie's original rap name, let me know. But that's what it says in the book. The Notorious B1.
It does come up when you do a Google search for musical artists.
Notorious B1.
It says, well, Big Daddy. Who is that? I don't know. Maybe that's the first LP.
To help Chris develop. So I mean, that's something we can It says SC says B1 who Biggie stole his whole identity from.
So maybe that's a different rapper, because this is Notorious B1 Big Daddy. Like, it's not referring to Notorious B.I.G. It just says Notorious B1. And this is in Reddit, because I'm all about some Reddit. Hip hop heads in Reddit are saying that.
Abi the shit says Biggie had to change it. Okay. So that's a point for the book. Something I didn't know. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip hop to make it happen. Things could not be more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. It was insane. Sean said, "Baby, I can't stop thinking about it." "What the hell are you talking about?" I responded. Sean continued, I just can't stop thinking about that night. It was amazing. "Can you screw me one more time, please?" I became infuriated. "Why don't you go to Clive? He is the one screwing you, isn't he?" Then Sean hit me. This was the first time, but he slapped me hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, I'm sorry," holding my cheek where he hit me. I turned and ran off. That should have been it, but I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. He sent flowers. Okay. Sorry. So we go from you're, pegging him to you don't like it. He then takes you out to dinner, then meets you out for coffee and tells you he loves you and you're all in. If at any point you thought that he was screwing Clive, why did it only come out when you thought he wanted you to peg him again?
Yeah, this is really weird. It's a thrown together piece of mess.
I don't like I'm trying to piece this together, but if you thought that your boyfriend Oh, come on, Alicia Keys.
What's going on?
Alicia Keys' company did a copyright claim on me.
What?
Mm-hmm.
For a picture?
No, for my new intro. It's okay.
Oh no.
It's okay. Anyway, let me see if I can take that intro out real quick. So now y'all get to see behind the scenes of what happens with content creators. Let's see.
But do you have insurance for that?
No, it's not that bad though. It's not like a strike. I should probably be able to take out the content that had it in it, but that intro was funny. If y'all were in there, I was even laughing at that intro.
Your
I thought,
latest one?
yeah, I thought it was funny.
It is.
Let me see. Select action. It's really just like 20 seconds, but that was so funny. But I guess I just need to take it out. It's okay.
Someone said, I'll consider that it may be notes put together, which is why it doesn't make sense. That's what it sounds like, notes put together. Or it sounds like bits of information they're just grabbing from different places and kind of putting it together and making it into a story. But that's just my opinion so far for chapter 3.
You know what? I'll do it tomorrow. It's okay.
What is that?
I'd rather people see it as is, and then I'll take it out later. It's okay. I thought that one was funny. If y'all, that one was a good one. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to this. He sent flowers and a bunch of expensive gifts. Then we bumped into each other at another industry event. He sat down next to me. This was deja vu. Sean started. Imagine running into you here. Get the F away from me. I forced out. Get the F away from me. I forced out. He became more serious as he said, look, baby, I'm sorry. But I just glared at him. There's nothing you can ever say to me. Nothing. After an awkward silence, he finished. You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix this, but I'll do anything. I'm sorry. Shit, can he be so sweet? Here we go with the love thing. This time it's not falling in. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite everything, I missed him. As he stood to walk away, I remember hearing myself saying, call me later. What the F is wrong with me? Chapter 4. Forgiveness.
Wait, what page number is this?
We're on page 9.
Okay. And how many pages are there?
We're not going to do the whole book tonight. 59.
Okay.
I think we could get through half, though. I think we could get through half.
Well, it sounds like there's like 12 words per page, but go ahead.
Forgiveness. Sean arrived with flowers in hand. He wanted to see Quincy. He was so good with him, and Quincy ran over to hug him. I felt my heart was melting. He asked Quincy, how you doing, Tiger? Quincy looked so innocent as he responded, I'm good. I miss you. Sean's response sounded genuine. I miss you too. We'll hang out tomorrow, okay? Okay. Sean gave him a little love tap on the butt. It's bedtime, Quincy replied. Okay, good night, as he turned to head towards his bedroom. Now, there is a video of adult Quincy back during the pandemic when everybody was going live.
Right.
And Quincy is looking directly at the thing, and Diddy is like looking at him like this, and he's saying, you fine mother. It was just kind of weird.
Did he?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah, I missed that.
In 2020, everybody just thought Diddy was kind of eccentric, and you had heard rumors. You know, like, but now anything that he does is under the microscope. As Quincy left, here was the man I fell in love with. But what was I thinking? Shit, not only does he want butt plugs, he slapped the shit out.
Wait. When did she say he wanted butt plugs? Did you just add that?
No. It says, here was the man I fell in love with. But what was I thinking? Shit, not only does he want butt plugs, he slapped the shit out of me. So why am I still talking to him? They say that love is blind, but is it stupid too? As Quincy left, Sean looked at me and smiled. Baby, let's go have some fun. The babysitter is on the way. I just want to show you a good time. I was so mad at myself for melting as I said, okay. We sat on the couch laughing and genuinely having a good time when the doorbell rang. The babysitter had arrived, and so we left. As we exited the house, a big man climbed out of the limo and opened the door for us. He wore a sharp suit with the gun noticeably tucked under his arm. I thought to myself, he could have made it invisible, or did he want me to see it? I mean, despite my reservation, Gene was a sweetheart. He was very courteous and polite as he tipped his head and said, good evening, ma'am. Gene drew a smile out of me as I responded, hello. Gene and I would see each other a lot after this day. Did you have anything?
This is our first meeting with Gene.
Gene Dill. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just read so much, and Gene told a story about Misa. He basically had said that Kim, Misa, and the girl Chance's mom, I always for Sarah Chapman,
Right.
we were all friends. So when Kim was upset that Sarah was sleeping with Diddy, it was also what he had known Kim to do. So he didn't understand why Sarah, and he even gave specifics on when they were all hanging out when Misa was with Diddy.
Like
So
he was saying that because you confused me. That's a whole bunch of people in there. Start over.
so Misa Hilton is Diddy's first baby mama.
Right.
Hilton's baby mama. Kim hated Sarah Chapman because Sarah got pregnant with her daughter at the same time that Kim was pregnant with twins.
Right.
Gene Deal had told a story where he talked about the specific club that they were all hanging out in 1991, like they were all friends running in the same circle, which
Okay.
he was present for. Is what I'm saying. He was present for this. So how would there be a situation where she would only meet him while she was dating Diddy when she was already around while he was dating Misa?
Right.
What I'm saying. Just something small, but I do remember Gene telling the story. The year passed, and thankfully we didn't have many bad arguments, although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo. The book takes a turn. I'm sorry. Like, I purposefully did not read this book so that we would have like real reactions. So she's not read it. I've not read it. No pun intended that that's your name. The year passed, and thankfully we didn't have many bad arguments, although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo. He would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up, Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, and of course, when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back again. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first, I was mad, but Mary was beautiful. It was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young and exploring. What?
Who's Mary?
Mary J. Blige.
It's Mary J.
Some Nacho Twins mom said that Sheree write this book.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young, and exploring my sexuality was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. That is until one day I came home into a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Albie Shore at the dinner table. I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of all of us being together had dissolved a long time ago, but it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down and we had drinks. It was fun. The conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple drinks. I just feel like this is a build up. I remember him saying, "It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." But word is spelled W-E-R-D, not W-O-R-D.
So it's word.
The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment as quietness lingered in the room. I asked, "What do you mean by all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no. Sean, this is my son's father. Al, say something." What Al said was mind-boggling. "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship. And if things became awkward, How would it affect Quincy? So I asked, are you both sure? I imagine both of them inside me. I knew
This has turned into something else. This this has turned into
Alvia says you're gonna see why he's against the book.
wow. Okay, it's something coming up.
Okay, okay. Okay. Why am I getting all these notices about this? No, I'm cool with this keeping this up. YouTube really wants me to correct that
That intro?
They want me to fix that video because that means that they don't make any money.
Oh, okay.
But I want the people to see the intro because I thought it was funny. So, so I'm not gonna do it. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I asked, are you both sure? I imagine both of them inside me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals, but what happened next, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Al, and then there's XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when Sean XXXXXXXXX, I ran out of the room. This was too much.
I don't know what the X's are.
They are redacting some stuff. I listened to this man's interview.
Right.
And according to him, he has pictures that have never been before seen. Do I think that there could be some truth to some of this? I don't put anything past anybody. Do I think that some stuff was just kind of like pieced together? Maybe. I don't know, to be honest with you.
It feels like it's just pieced together. It doesn't feel like a complete cohesive story. Like I don't feel like it's even going in any sort of order at all. Like, I mean, it's kind of going in a timeline order, but the pieces of information that you have here, and then it jumps to like the next thing that happens. I mean, it just feels awkward.
Okay, so let's play a game. Let's uncover the redacted. So it says Al, and then there's 4 words. And then the next thing is, I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when Sean, 4 words, I ran out of the room. So are we going to, I couldn't have imagined him. Al.
Okay, for me, I'm going to say got naked. Is that what it was? And then when
Sean
got naked, oh, it's 4 words.
It's 4 words. So I'm thinking Al went down on Diddy.
Oh, okay.
4 words. So Al and then went down on Diddy. I couldn't believe it.
Part of that?
I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when Sean, 4 words, I ran out of the room. Bent Al over? No. When Sean.
I'm counting the words.
I don't know what the 4 words would be.
But from this scene, and I'm
rectally
say I'm picturing this, but in this scene, they totally have ignored her because she's just watching.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, I need to get it together. But yeah, it's 4 words. I would not be surprised if Al went down on Diddy. But when Sean such and such 4 words, I ran out of the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean called out to me, "Oh, come on, Kimmy. They didn't chase after me. They blank, blank, blank. I guess continue to have no. He redacted it.
Yeah, that's what it makes it seem like. That like they just got their own party started.
No wonder Albie Shore is trying to block this book.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while, but that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position. Not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all of his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it, but that's for later. Chapter 6, Pac. Biggie took over East Coast hip-hop, and Sean was the brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics.
They said Biggie hired people to teach Sean how to flow and write his lyrics. Is that what that said?
No. Chris is Christopher Wallace, which is Biggie, but he said he hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. Biggie was like a lyricist. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was like doing battle rap, I thought.
I don't know, but as I understood it, I thought it was his like raw talent. I didn't think that he was like taught.
Yeah. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took credit for them, and the music was unstoppable. At this point, Sean was sleeping with all the power players, and everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. Sean wheeled and dealed in a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys that really controlled the music to stay on top. A lot of the names average people never heard of. These are the guys that make the decision on who is winning and who is not. He hosted parties that were just a fancy name for orgies, and everyone wanted in. When I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship, and yes, I slept with Pac. Shit, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind. Well, not until he tried to get Pac to join the both of us. Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay, and he was pissed about the advances. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, they were smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in on what I'm sure he would call a smooth approach. My baby is bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I was not playing with my response. Sean, what the fuck? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared upset behind Sean's words, but Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my dick's bigger than yours. I bet I can make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the F are you talking about, Ninja? I ain't trying to run no effing train, Sean continued. What you scared of? Let's see who F's better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point we have been inviting others into our bed for a while, but I am not used to it and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, Ninja, you talking about pulling your effing D out? Sean was undaunted. What, are you scared? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could have not been in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palatable. Palpable. It felt like blows could be thrown at any moment. Months passed with only the tensions between them. It was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day, while we were at the studio, it happened. I walked into Sean's office, and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Hinchman. Pac don't leave that effing studio alive. I don't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey, Sean. Good morning, Jimmy. They didn't seem to think I heard anything.
Okay, I have a question though. All that talk that whole conversation, that whole scene with he and Tupac. I mean, was that supposed to be like men's locker room talk? I'm not a man, so maybe that's the kind of way that people talk. Do people actually talk like that?
No, that's why Tupac was like, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'm just like, okay.
No, I mean, Tupac probably realized what he was trying to do. And he wasn't into it. But this whole thing of him putting a hit on Tupac, the conversation, Pac don't leave that effing studio alive. Hey, Sean. Good morning, Jimmy. They didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast. Smiling, Sean replied first. Let me get eggs, sunny side up with grits and an orange juice. I could see he was hungover. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he had just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous. Jimmy, apparently not hungry, said nothing for me. As he stood to exit the room, he said to Sean, let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Kim, always a pleasure. With a wink to me and a nod to Sean, he turned and walked out. Jimmy's part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't white as a sheet. I wasn't in the studio the night Pac survived being shot, thank God. From what I understood, Sean and Chris saw Pac at the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works, after being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although they saw Pac lying there swimming in a pool of his own blood, would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He, of course, assumed they placed the hit. And Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that will be unanswered. Tupac didn't do well. He lost a testicle, but he survived. It was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Now, I just want to say, she did say that she slept with him, but she didn't give us any details about when she actually got with Tupac.
Right.
So that's a little strange.
Like one thing, okay, Lava Lake Pictures is saying, why would a Black woman describe herself as white as a sheet? I was thinking that exact same thing. But you know what else I was thinking too? When she said she felt herself blush,
Mm-hmm.
usually that's not something like as a Black person, like I don't ever think like, oh, I feel myself blush because I'm not that pale, right? And Kim
Oh,
wasn't that pale. So feeling yourself blush is not something that we typically, I mean, you can feel yourself get hot in the face, but I don't ever say I feel myself blush because I don't think I get that red like that. Do you ever say you feel yourself blush?
no.
Right? Like that's weird.
Chapter 7, threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. If Is he going to take my life if I try to escape? One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at dinner after an event. We were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on that call will be etched in my brain forever. We're going to release. Who shot you now? He waited for a response, then went on to say, of course they're going to think Big was talking about Pop. That's the whole effing point. Nobody would give a F about a diss track against LL fucking Cool J. Do you know how much money we'll make with this kind of rap beef? Ninjas battling after someone really got shot. This may not be the best time for this conversation. Sean was finishing up. We drop that shit tomorrow. He listened into the phone, then responded. There's gonna be blood in the street. Ninjas miss Pox. Niggas missed. Pox alive. Let's capitalize on that. When he responds, it's just gonna mean more money. He turned around and looked at me, spoke back into the phone, I'll call you back, then hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to give a fake smile at what I'd heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean wasn't fooled. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening, but I responded as cool as I could muster to his intimidating stare. Of course. He took my hand saying, that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand until it hurt as he continued. Because seeing you walk in the office while I was talking about killing that mother effer and you not saying shit to me had me just a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me. As he continued, he squeezed tighter. Your pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me and not something I should be concerned with, right? I had no choice but to give him the answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded, of course I'm loyal to you. He let me go as he responded, good. And remember, I'm the big dick.
Oh, okay.
I snatched my hand back in pain. He smiled and said, let's start off with a good wine. He snapped his fingers and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted, and what he wanted he got. I'm trapped. Now isn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I have to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. I mean, this man just snapped his fingers in one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they poured his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is 1994. The list to get in this place is 6 months long if you are a somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight also. If I got up and walked out, I would be safe. But what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking. He pointed at my glass, and of course a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes, and okay, he's roughed me up once or twice, but never punched me. He never bruised me, and he never hit Quincy. I would not have stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son. At that time, I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big dick. Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much.
So we just threw that in there. We just dropped that.
I'm really trying to... I'm really trying to keep a straight face with this one. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Shit, he enjoyed Jamie too. He gets so insanely jealous. It's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does. Damn, you're quiet tonight, he said, snapping me back into the present. I asked the question that was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. A third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, would you like something? Carter responded, no thank you. Then said hello to me with a smile. Smiling, I replied, hey Carter, and took a sip of my drink. The Seans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully I've never asked to join. It's
So
just
it's everybody, anybody you can think of.
it's just very flippant. So now Jay-Z and Diddy have a sexual relationship.
So we
The
got
song
Diddy and I'll be sure. We have Diddy and
Jamie Foxx
Jamie Foxx. We have Diddy and Jay-Z.
and Tupac turned him down. Okay. But luckily I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. I thought we were meeting in private. Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. I had to discuss something with her. It's fine. Go ahead. He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. It's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fist against the table. Doesn't anyone have any effing loyalty? Carter, well, that's not happening now, right? Sean peered at Carter with distrust. Why the F are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. F, he brought you on and you're stabbing him in the back. Carter responded with indignity. First, I'm tired of being that nigga's son. I need to come out from under his damn shadow. Sean smiled slightly. Okay, I respect that. Carter kept going. On top of that, this ninja is making that move, and it should have been with me. Sean looked at Carter blankly. Pac put Chris on. You know this. What's this really about, Carter? Don't effing try to play me. The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. Cornered, he had to spill it. I want his spot. Ambition. Now, this is a man I can work with. Sean made a grandiose gesture. A grandiose gesture towards Carter. Waiter, get this MF for whatever he wants. Carter smiled. Thank you. Sean responded, honesty and ambition. We're going to make a lot of bread together. Carter ordered a drink as he stated again. Guess he won't be leaving with that ninja to do their own label now. Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. Why don't you let me worry about that? I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in this conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me. Have the limo drop you off. We didn't eat. He didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek and left. Chapter 8. Kadada. Actress, model, and fashion
designer. Kadada has her own chapter.
Kadada has her own chapter, and it's 5 pages, so that's longer than any other one. Kadada has her own chapter. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kadada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiance and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Limpton. Being around other celebrities was just part of life. Meeting Kadada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was about the same time I met Kimura. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact that she was dating someone I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kadada. Kimura was too jealous for that.
So this is implying that Kadada and Kimura had a relationship. Is that what we're saying here?
Yes. So it went from exposing Puffy to exposing all your friends. Yes, Kadada knew about Kimura, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Oh, so you were sleeping with Kimura. She was sleeping with Kimura too.
Yeah, I'm doing this now. I'm like, okay, let me keep these together.
Yes, Kadada knew about Kimura, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kadada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all the tension and beef, we used to all hang out together, and it was always dope vibes. But with Pac's shooting and the suspicions surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes between Kadada and I weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We dolled up as the men groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes. A makeup artist did our makeup, and hairstylists did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylists in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken, but this time Kadada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong, but when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, as far as props, I had nothing on Kadada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks, and superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast musically. With all the hits, there were really no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kadada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As she sat, Sean said, "Bad Boy is going to clean the fuck up." From this table with Faith, Chris replied, "Hell yeah. And that new shit we busting out gonna have these ninjas sick." Kadada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of ginger ale that sat over at her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, "Pac's music gonna get some love too." Sean grimaced. "Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got your differences, but you have to admit it, the man makes great music." Sean looked at me out of the corner of his eye, then took another sip of his favorite cognac and replied, "Bad Boy got the hottest music on the effing planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody got to get their shine, right?" Kadada sighed. "Sean, Tupac thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You two were so close. You need to make this right." Sean responded indignantly, "Why the F would that ninja think that I had anything? Why the F would that ninja think I had anything to do with it?" Kadada retorted, "Sean, can you blame him?" Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. "Hell yeah, I blame him. We had a good thing going, all of us. That ninja turned on me, and he has the effing balls to blame me for his shooting." The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting, "Da, do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night." Komora heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and said, "Hey, everybody," with that big dimpled smile. I smiled and replied, "Hey." Kadada also seemed happy to see her as she said, "Hey, what up, Kimmy?" Komora, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight at it. "The whole place is buzzing with the fact that you're sitting here accusing Sean of having Pac shot." That was, again, very flippant.
Right.
"Y'all kind of loud," she laughed. Kadada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering, but she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. "Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. We all know Sean was behind it." Komora forced a smile. "Honey, we don't have to do this here." Kadada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. "Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot." Sean clenched his hands into fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones' daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew, but he did not want any of the smoke Quincy Jones could bring. Kadada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary, both wanting to defend the super producer that made them famous, both started to stand and make their way over to the table, but Sean signaled them off. So Biggie and Mary was gonna gang.
It doesn't even, it just feels like so weird because I'm again picturing it and they're all sitting at the table and they're having these conversations. Like I just don't even see it. I don't see it.
They remained in their seats watching helplessly. Kadada seemed to be on a full rampage. "You're not safe in the street, Sean. You think you're untouchable." Komora seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kadada by the hand, saying, "I gotta go to the restroom." Kadada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, "Let go of me." Komora needed her to get a grip and said, sternly as a parent speaking to a child mid-tantrum, "Da." Kadada turned to her and yelled, "What?" Komora nodded towards the crowded room and Kadada looked around. Here she deflated slightly. Komora, now in control, spoke firm but softly, "Let's go powder our nose." Kadada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted, I asked Sean, "You okay?" Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around and saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get a pitcher of ginger ale from Kadada's table. He poured himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one paying attention, and put the pitcher under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my God, is he peeing in the pitcher? He smiled at me as he brought the pitcher back from under the table and finally replied, "I'm good." He then stood and returned the pitcher to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. "So you peed in this girl's ginger ale?"
At an award show, at a table in front of everybody.
I'll
And
never.
who puts ginger ale in a pitcher? But go ahead.
Who knew that ginger ale was the hot commodity?
Right.
I never eat or drink something after we have an argument again. Kadada and Kimura made their way back to Kadada's table to sit as Sean watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. Which songs do you think they're going to give me awards for? As Kadada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath, if I'm right. Relieved, I replied, babe, your catalog is crazy. I bet a lot of songs. Sean glared at Kadada's table the entire night. So Jean did not let Kadada drink the pee.
And she changed tables.
She was already at another table. She came to their table.
Came over to their table. Got it.
Let me see how many more chapters. We're on chapter 9, and there are 19. I feel like this would be a good stopping point.
So Liz 1192 said Jean confirmed the story, just said minor details were changed or wrong. So the story about him peeing in the drink.
Mm-hmm. So that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Lex, if you have the video where he said that, could you DM me and make it make sense now? I don't know, but I think this is a good stopping point.
Okay, what page are we on?
We are on page 26.
And so much has happened.
I just the her throwing this out. Yep, we were sleeping together. Yep, I had them too.
And then when he was with old Jamie, I mean, in the way he's like name dropping.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. I want to thank everybody for coming. I see Reddit is now at 2,000 subscribers.
Yay! Yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me.
We'll definitely be able to finish it in the next one. Y'all, I've been live now for like over 2 hours.
Okay, you look drained.
Yeah. So we'll definitely finish this maybe in a couple days, you think? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you everybody for joining.
Subscribe and like the video. It's appreciated.
Yep. Thank you. See you later.
All right. Bye, y'all.